In today's video, we're going to be building an Uber Eats app using FlutterFlow, and we're going to be covering some very important concepts. And so right here, this is the architecture here, and this is something you always want to do first because this is the most important thing. This is the blueprint for the app. So we have a login and a register screen. And we need the user to log in, obviously, right? Because they're going to be ordering, they're going to be buying something. And if they don't have an account, we're going to let them register. So it's kind of going to be one page with two tabs, okay? After they log in, they're going to be redirected to the restaurant list, okay? The restaurant list is going to display a list of restaurants, the name of the restaurant, maybe a picture. And also, we're going to have an ability, perhaps, when they search for a place, they can specify their preferences, their filters. You know, do they want a certain category of restaurants? Do they want, above a certain rating, etc., etc.? After clicking on the restaurant, they're going to be redirected to a food list. And this is really the dishes for the restaurant, okay? This is going to be the actual things that they can order in the restaurant. If they decide they want to order something, they're going to click on an item and they're going to be redirected to the so-called food detail. This is essentially a page that's going to display more information about the actual specific food product. So for instance, if this is a burger restaurant, here it's going to be a menu for that restaurant. So like burgers, cheeseburger, regular burger, double burger, etc. They click on it, they're going to see a specific product. This is where they'll be able to add to cart. We're going to also be handling cart functionality, adding, removing from the cart. And then we're going to have a cart screen. And from the cart, we're going to display the items that they have, the items they're interested in, and they're going to be able to do a checkout. Okay, and also we might have a user info screen as well. Okay, it's just basic information about the user, their email, contact information in case they need to change their number, perhaps. Maybe they're traveling and they have a new local number, they need to change their number so that, when the delivery person is delivering the food to them, they have the right contact information, they can contact them correctly. So this is the main architecture, okay? And when it comes to the entities, we're going to be storing things in FirestoreDB. And we're going to have a restaurant collection, a dish collection, basically the dishes, as well as the user collection. Okay? So now that we covered this, let's go into FirestoreDB and create our database structure first. And then we will go to FlutterFlow and actually build the app. So here I am inside Firebase. I'm looking at my projects. I'm going to add a new project here. And I'm going to call this Uber Eats app. Okay, we're gonna say continue, we're gonna say create project, we're gonna say continue, and now we are inside the main dashboard for this project that I created. So what I want to do first is I want to go into build and I want to go into authentication, and I want to turn authentication on because we're gonna have email password authentication. So I'm gonna say get started, and I'm gonna click on this email and password. I'm gonna say enable, and I'm gonna hit save. And now we have this enabled here. Next, I'm gonna go back to build and I'm gonna go to Firestore database and I'm gonna say create database. I'm gonna do test mode. I'm gonna say enable. All right, so here's my database that I just created. And let's go ahead and create a couple of collections. Okay, the first collection is gonna be restaurants. And we're gonna create an initial document representing the restaurant. So I'm gonna say name, James Burger. I'm gonna add another field, maybe a description and the best burgers in town, and maybe and also I'm gonna have an image. Okay, this is going to be a string here, and this is gonna be a link to the actual image of the restaurant. We can just paste the URL here. All right, so we have our collection and we have a document right here, and we need to create more. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this in Google Cloud. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a couple of more restaurants here. Let's have 5 restaurants. So I'm going to say this is going to be a fish and chips, John's Fish and Chips. All right, so I went ahead and created 5 restaurants, okay? That's the 5 restaurants. Now inside every one of these documents, we're gonna create a sub collection, which is gonna represent the dishes that they serve, the products. So I'm gonna go to the first restaurant, I'm gonna start a collection, and the name of the collection is going to be dishes, okay? And we are gonna have the name of the dish. So let's say for the burger restaurant, we might have traditional burger, and then description, our best burger. We might have an image as well, string, and I'll just put some. And so here's the collection. We also need a price field. So I'm gonna add price, going to be a number. And let's say the price for the burger is, I don't know, $7.99. We're gonna add one more dish so that we can have 2 dishes per restaurant. I'm gonna add another dish right here. And this is going to be a cheeseburger. Or a steak. Let's do a steak burger. It's gonna be more expensive. $12.99. Try our new steak burger, and I'll get an image. Let's say something like this. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the same for the other restaurants. I'm gonna add 2 dishes for each one of the other restaurants as well. All right, so now I've added a collection for each of these restaurant documents. So we have 5 restaurants, and if you go in, we have a collection there with 2 dishes here as well. And now that we've set up our database, we got authentication, we got some data in here, we can start building the app. So I'm gonna go back to FlutterFlow, I'm gonna say create new, I'm gonna call this Uber Eats app, I'm gonna say create new, I'm gonna say next step. Here we gotta enter the project ID, so I'm gonna go in here, click on the gear icon, project settings, copy and paste this project ID. I'm gonna say connect. All right, I'm gonna say auto generate config files. I'm gonna enable authentication, and I'm gonna create the user collection. Next, we need to configure our entry page and our logged in page. So let's do that right now. We're gonna click here. We're gonna go to auth, and we need to pick a page that we want to use when the user needs to log in. So there's a really good page that I like using, this page right here, because it has 2 tabs. It has sign in and sign up. We're going to say use my theme. We're going to say log in, use my theme. This is the logged in page, and this page is going to actually show the main screen. And what we're going to have this page show is this restaurant list screen. So we're going to go back here. We're gonna create a new page. I'm just gonna call it restaurant list, and we want the list, so I'm gonna go into lists. I'm gonna look for a page that I like. How about this one right here? This is a menu page, very similar. I'm gonna say use my theme, and now we can say start building. And now everything is set up. We got our pages here. We got login and restaurant list. So what we want to do is we want to create all the pages first, okay? That way we can start building the app and not really have to worry about this. So if I go in here, we want to create food list, which is basically dishes list. So I'm going to say dishes list. This is dish detail. And we have dishes list, dish detail. We have a cart and a checkout user info. So these 4 pages are very similar. So we're going to come in here. We're going to duplicate. What do we have? Dishes, these 3 pages, and then dish detail. So I'm gonna say this is gonna be dishes list, which is essentially the menu for the restaurant. And this one is gonna be cart. Cart is also a list. Cart is gonna be a list, and we also need a page to display the one specific dish. So I'm gonna say new page, dish detail. We're gonna go into content. We're gonna try to find the page. So this is really up to you, what you think is a good one. But for instance, I like this one right here. We can say use my theme, and something like this, we can modify it. And we also need a checkout page, okay? So checkout page, we're gonna do a new page. I'm gonna say checkout. We're gonna go to e-commerce, and here you have really nice checkout page. So here you have a decent checkout page. We're just gonna say that. All right, so now we have all the pages that we need, okay? So we have login, restaurant list, dishes list, dish detail, we have a cart, and we have a checkout. We can also have a profile page. I'm gonna come in here, and I'm gonna say profile. So we can go into settings here and we have a profile page. So maybe something like this. Okay, so something like this. We have a profile. And now let's go into restaurant list and let's start building the app, okay? So this is gonna be the main page that the user sees when they log in. And if we go into widget tree, we see that this is basically a duplicate, right? We have a container, we have a list view, and then we have a bunch of containers. So what we want to do is we want to delete all of them except for the first one, because this one is going to be repeating. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to delete this, delete menu item, and now I'm going to delete this one also. Now before we can start actually getting data into the app, we need to go in here, which is our database section here. We already have the users collection, but we need to create another collection. This is going to be restaurants, and then we're going to create a sub collection called dishes. It's a sub collection for restaurants. Description, image, and name. So we're going to create those fields. We're going to say name, and we're going to go into dishes, description, image, name, and price. I'm going to say name. All right, so we have all of this set up now. We have the schema. Now we can go back into the UI and we can start working with the app. So we're going to go into the hierarchy. We're going to pick the list view. We're going to say query collection. We're going to say restaurants. We're going to say confirm. And now we're going to be getting the list. What do we want to display? Well, we want the image, right? Set path from variable, restaurants, image. Title, we want the title of the restaurant. Set from variable, name. This might be a description, so I'm gonna say description, and maybe limit the description. I don't know, 50 characters, something like that. And we don't really have the price, right? The price is gonna be on the next one, so we can delete this. We can just delete it. And then what we want to do is we want this to redirect to the next page. So I'm gonna select the row, actions, add an action, navigation, navigate to dishes list. And we want to pass the parameter of the restaurant, okay? Define, we want to add a parameter. The parameter is going to be rest. We're going to come in here, we're going to say document reference. For the restaurants, confirm, pass, rest ref, set, reference, all right? Okay, so now if we run the app, we should at least be able to see the list of restaurants as well as the action redirecting us to the dishes. All right, so here's the app. This is our main screen. We don't have an account yet, so I'm gonna say sign up. All right, so I just created an account, and as you can see, I'm at the main screen, and these are our 5 restaurants. And now if we click on it, we're gonna be redirected to the dishes page, but we're just seeing random content. We're not seeing what we wanna see. And so it's working right now. We're gonna go back, and now we're gonna work on this page here. So this page is getting a parameter, rest ref, which is the restaurant reference. And now we need to do the same thing. We need to delete these extra menu items because we're gonna be generating it ourselves, just like this. Delete this as well. And we're gonna select the list view, come to this query type. We're gonna say query collection. And now what we want is dishes. And we're gonna specify the reference of the restaurant, okay? From variable, rest ref, okay? Now we're getting all the documents for that specific collection inside that restaurants, all right? So we don't need a filter or anything like that. Let's say confirm. And now we can specify everything that we need. Path is going to be dishes, image. This is gonna be the dish. Set from variable, name, description. This is the price. You can actually even format it, something like this. Displays currency, currency symbol, $, confirm. There you have that. And now we need to do the same thing where we're going to be redirecting to the detail page, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to select the menu item or the row, doesn't matter. We're going to say add an action, navigate to dish detail. We're going to pass some parameters. The parameter we're passing is the dish reference, okay? Add parameter, dish ref. It's going to be a document reference, collection type dishes, confirm, pass, dishes document reference. Okay, so now when they click on it, they're gonna, a reference from this specific dish is gonna be passed to the other parameter. Here, I also want the name of the restaurant probably. We're gonna come to dishes list. We're gonna get the data for the restaurant. We're gonna say document from reference, restaurants, ref, and now we can get all the data coming here. Set from variable restaurant documents name. Okay, that's the name of the restaurant. And we also have the cart button, right? So we can actually redirect it to the cart, which is also nice. Come in here, add an action, navigation, navigate to cart. All right, so this works. So if you refresh it and we go to, let's say, to James Burger, we have our 2 burgers. Look at those beautiful burgers. We have the prices, we have everything. And we can click on this, and that's going to be redirected to the cart, which is not done yet. So let's go back and let's work on the dish detail. Okay, so here we have a dish detail, just a random detail page, and it's getting the dish reference. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to go back to the as high as possible, and we want to come in here and we want to get a document from reference, dishes, dish reference. And now we have access to all the information for that specific dish document. So I'm gonna say this is gonna be the name of the dish, this is gonna be the image. We're gonna say network, set from variable, image. Here we're gonna say maybe description. Actually, this could be description. We have description. This could be another, the name of the, actually we can delete this. And here we can have the name again, up to you, name. And here could be the price. So dish price, we're gonna say number format, confirm. We can delete all this row. We can delete top friends here, we don't really need that. We can delete this as well. And now this call to action, we can use it to add to the shopping cart, to the cart. So I'm gonna say add to cart, and we're gonna have an action. And before we add to cart, we need to come in here to local state, and we need to create a couple of variables. So the first variable we're going to be doing is going to be cart. And cart is going to be an array or a list of dish references. So we're going to say list, and we're going to say document reference. What kind of document? Dishes. This is going to be an array of the dishes. Now we're going to go back. We're going to click on this button, add an action. And what we're going to do is we're going to update local state. We're going to pick our local state, and what we're going to do is add to list. We're going to add this dish to the list of references of dishes. Value to add from variable, dishes document, and we have reference. Okay? So now this specific reference is going to be added to our local state, and that's going to be displayed in the shopping cart. Let's fix this button so that it goes back. Navigate back. Okay, that's there already. Perfect. Go to the pages. Let's refresh the app we have. All right, so here's the app. Let's pick a restaurant, burgers. I want traditional burger. There it is. We can add to cart here. We're not seeing the cart yet, but when we click on it, we're gonna be seeing the burger in this cart here. So let's do the cart right now. Come in here. Let's pick the cart. Let's delete all of these menu items here. This row, we're gonna say cart. I guess we don't really need that anymore. I'm gonna delete that. You can say shopping cart, something like this. And now we have our list view. So how do you display the shopping cart? Well, you can go in here because we're not gonna be querying a Firestore DB or API call or anything like that. What you gotta do is you gotta come in here, generate dynamic children, and you give it a name, items, shopping cart items. We're gonna come in here and we're gonna say local state, and we're gonna pick this array. We're gonna say confirm. This is where you take an array and you turn it into a bunch of elements that you can actually display. So if I say confirm, now it's gonna actually display them properly, okay? So now, if I come in here, next I wanna pick menu item, and we want to expand that document from the reference because it's a list of references. So I'm gonna go to menu item, I'm gonna come in here, document from reference, I'm gonna say dishes, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna pick our item, I'm gonna say confirm. And now anything below this menu item, this row or text or anything like that, it's gonna have access to that specific document. Okay, so if I go into image and I want to display the actual image, I can come in here and I can say set from variable, path set from variable. I have my document and I can just pick an image. Same thing for title, scroll up, name. This is gonna be description. This is gonna be the price. Actually, we can format it, number format, confirm. And we don't really need this icon. I mean, it's not that important. And now we have our items in the cart, okay? Now the next thing that we can do is we can add an area to show the total, and we can have a button that's gonna redirect to the checkout. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another row here, and I'm gonna add a button. And I'm gonna pat it a little bit from the top, and I'm gonna center this button. And this button, let's give it a lift, elevation. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay, that looks better. And this is gonna say checkout. All right, and that's gonna redirect to the checkout page, add an action, navigation, navigate to checkout, okay? Now what we can do is we can have another field here that's gonna display the sum, okay? So something like this. I remember somebody asked me, how do you do the sum in these kinds of situations? Well, now there are two ways to calculate the sum. One is that you can keep track of it whenever you add something into the cart or remove something from the cart, okay? The second way is by creating a custom function. You can create a custom function and you can actually go through each item in your shopping cart and you can create the sum. And so in this video, I'm gonna use the first method, which is the no-code version, but both methods work fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in here to our local state. We're gonna add another variable. We're just gonna call it cart sum. And this is going to be a double. And we're gonna say create, okay? And this thing is gonna keep track of the sum every time we add or remove a specific dish into the cart, okay? So if you go back here now, and let's say we go in here, we go to dish detail, add to cart, we need to add another action. So we have add update local state. What we need to do is we're gonna have another action, and this thing is gonna do update local state again, and we're gonna pick our cart sum, and we're gonna increment, okay, because we're adding increment by from variable, and we're gonna say this is document price. Okay, that way it's gonna increment it. And before I forget, you wanna initialize it to 0. That way it's initialized to 0. Everything is nice and legit. So if you go in here, when we add something to cart, it's gonna add it to cart and it's gonna increase the sum by the price of whatever dish we added to cart. And back here in the cart, now we can display the sum, okay, the running sum. So we're gonna come in here and we're gonna set from variable, and we're gonna say combine text. We're gonna say text and text1. Text1 is gonna say cart, and text2 is gonna say from variable. We're gonna go to local state, get the cart sum. Number format, we can format it as a decimal, display as currency. Confirm, confirm. So now, hopefully it's gonna be displaying the sum of all of these things, okay? So let's try this out. All right, so here we are. We're gonna go, what are we gonna go? We're gonna go back to the burgers. We're gonna choose the steak burger, add to cart, come back, and as you can see, cart is $12.99. Let's say we go pick another burger here. We want the traditional burger, add to cart, come back, go to the cart. As you can see, this is the total of these two things. Another thing that we can do is we can have an option to delete this. So we can delete it. It's gonna remove it from here, and it's gonna subtract it from the cart total. So that's what we're gonna do right now. I'm gonna add another column right here, and then the second column, instead of the price, I'm gonna have an icon there. Icon button, and this button is gonna be a little bit smaller. We're gonna remove this text, and let's go back to this icon button. Icon size is gonna be, let's say, there we go. Maybe this is bigger, yeah, something like that. And this might be something like remove or delete. Yeah, delete. And that's gonna delete it. So what this is gonna do is we're gonna add an action, update local state. We're gonna say this is the cart reference. What we're gonna do is we're gonna remove from list. From variable, we're gonna say this is document, we're gonna do reference. And that's gonna remove that reference from this list. And we also gotta open this thing, and we need to subtract the price of that item as well. Add an action. We're gonna say update local state. We're gonna pick cart sum. We're gonna decrement. We're gonna say from variable, I'm gonna say price. And here it says I need to use a negative number if I want to decrement the value. And in this case, since we have the price, there's no way to kind of make it negative. One way we can do it is by creating a custom function that's gonna take the value and multiply it by -1, thus creating a negative value. We're gonna come in here. We are gonna be returning a double, not a list, not nullable, and we're gonna say return negative value. Add an argument. The argument is gonna be the price, value, double. Now we're gonna go into code here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna say return value times -1. So that's our custom function. We're taking the price, we're multiplying by -1, thus getting the negative value. Hit save. And now we're gonna say set function arguments. From variable, we're gonna set the price right here, and we're gonna be getting the negative value of the price, okay? So now we can come in here, and now if we run the app, we should be able to remove the item from here as well as remove it from here as well. All right, so here's the app, and if we go back into the burger, let's say we want the traditional burger, add to cart. We go into cart, we see the burger right here. And let's say we want the steak burger, add to cart, click on the cart, we have the total, and we have the burger. So let's say we want to delete one of them. We delete the steak burger, it's deleted, and the cart has been updated. We can delete this, and it is fully updated. Now, a couple of other things that we need to do is we need a checkout page. We're going to redirect it to checkout and maybe create a profile page. So if we go to our cart right here, this checkout, it's actually redirected to checkout. So from the checkout, we can go to checkout here, and here we can display the final price, credit card connected to Stripe, what name you, lots of options that you can do. And you can connect it to Stripe here. You can go into settings, you can go into Stripe, sign up with Stripe, enable Stripe payments, and fill all of this out. And last but not least, we want to set up the profile page. So if we go to profile, we have an image here, and what we can do is we can basically modify it with the data that we have to the authenticated user. So we can come in here, network, set from variable, authenticated user, photo URL, email address, same thing. Come in here, we can say email address here, initial value, authenticated user, email, name, initial value, authenticated user, display name. And here we can say save an action, database, update document. Come in here, authenticated user. We can specify the reference of the authenticated user and then add the field. So we can have our email. We can also do display name, and we can do the photo URL. So email is going to be from variable. We can say widget state, email address, display name from variable. We can say widget state, your name. And then when they hit save changes, it's gonna update the authenticated user, thus updating our information in the database. Now, there are obviously a lot more features that we can add to this app, lots and lots of things. If you want me to create a part 2 here with some new functionality, definitely leave a comment below. If you want to view and or clone this app, you will be able to do it on my Patreon page. So definitely check that out and support this channel. Keep the videos rolling if you can. If you found this video enjoyable, please smash the like button, leave a comment below, and do not forget to subscribe to this channel so you do not miss any more FlutterFlow and no code videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.